COVID has been for creatives here, how, the queer journey has been for creatives. We'll go through rejection, realization of what's needed to be done, and the chosen family and what that entails. So yeah, are we ready? I think we are ready.
We are live.
Awesome. Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us today. It's another beautiful day as we have Nairobi Design Week Festival the whole week. It's been awesome. We've had so much happening. We launched Nairobi Design Week. It's an online design festival, and you can see it on our YouTube channel. There's so many creatives who've joined us. Over 30 creatives shared their stories. Over 100 amazing stories were featured in terms of artworks, in terms of illustrations, many stories from Eat Design Repeat app. Check out eatdesignrepeat.com to see the creatives we're talking about. On the screen right now are some of the posters that were done by Makonde. Check out Makonde Senior on Instagram and see more of what he's done. Today's session is joined by the Bambis and other guests who are going to be joining us to talk about the queer journey in the creative industry. I hope you all enjoy, and let's have fun. Cheers. So this is what we have today: a queer journey in the creative industry. The session today will have 10 minutes to meet the guests. We'll have 10 minutes to talk about rejection, which will be led by Seise and Rebian. Survival, just the COVID story, how they've been surviving in the COVID times, and the chosen family, which will be told more about by the Bambis. And then we'll have a 10 minutes Q&A where you can ask all the questions that you have, or suggestions or thoughts. And the session will take approximately 1 hour from the beginning to the end. So let's get started. The guests, we have the Bambis, Nasimiyu, Winnie, Jean, Lucimbira, Pan-African Pansexual, and myself, Naitiemu. And you'll see part of our team is also there, Tracy and David, who are making sure that everything is running smoothly. I'll let Nasimiyu introduce herself.
Hi. Like you heard, my name is Daisy Nasimiyu, and I'm here with Winnie.
Hi guys.
Yeah, and we're both creators, queer creatives actually. Yeah, and let's just enjoy ourselves. Yeah.
Yes, awesome. Winnie. Cindy.
Hi guys, I'm Winnie Azihamba. I wasn't supposed to be in this, but Daisy told me about it yesterday, and I figured, you know what, let me be part of this. Yeah, so I am a creative director, I'm a chef as well, and I am a queer, so thank you for having me.
Jean, thank you for joining us. Jean.
Hi. So
I think she'll be back shortly. We'll go to Lucimbira.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. You're back.
Hi. Hello.
Hi. I'll let Lucimbira go first.
Hi everyone, I'm Lucy Mbira. I'm a photographer, filmmaker, and author, among other things. Yeah, I'm excited to be part of this. Very honored to be a guest and part of this great conversation. Because I feel like there are many East African stories and the stories in general that need to be shared. So yeah, thank you. I identify as he, him. Yeah, I'm part of the queer community.
Pan-African. Thank you, Lucimbira, and we love your amazing photos. I'll let Pan-African, pansexual introduce themselves and then go back to Jean.
Hello. Can you hear me? Hi.
Yes.
My name is Jill, or Pan-African Pansexual. I am a history enthusiast. Yes, and I'm excited to be here. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Jean, is your microphone working better? Are you ready to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I guess it is now.
Awesome. We'll just go back to your slide.
Okay, so hi. My name is Jen Aiko. I am a polycreative, or I'd say I'm a polymath. I'm just a creative. I do a whole lot of things. I am a video director. I am a presenter. I am an A&R. This basically an artist and reporter. So yeah, I do a whole lot of things, and I still do podcasting. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll give the session to the Bambis who will be leading us through today's session. Let's talk about rejection and how COVID has affected the queer industry.
Okay, so you wanna go first? No, you first. I'm a gentle lady. My name is Sisi Babo. My pronouns are they, them, theirs, and I'm an awesome human being. Trust me, I am. Yeah, very awesome.
Hi, my name is Rebian Atino. I'm a lesbian. Pronouns she, her, hers, and yeah, I'm happy to be here. I think you'll know me better as the day goes and as we discuss more. So yeah,
we are the Bambis. If you're
the
wondering.
Bambis.
Yeah, we are the Bambis.
Check out the Bambis. They have the page, the Bambis, as in on the screen right now. And I'll just quickly go to tell us about the North Remembers May 24th.
So the North Remembers May 24th was a thing by Aya, who was our chosen mom. Aya got this quote. It was inspired by what happened in 24th May 2019, the repeal. Any queer person who's here knows what that means. And maybe some people also know, I don't know. I don't know how to talk about that without feeling the rejection that day was, without remembering how constantly we were told that you are not one of us, you are not enough, we don't even know that you exist, you are a non-issue. Like, it was drummed over and over and over again. And as the North remembers May 24th, I would also want people to know that on 25th, we lost a trans woman who was mobbed to death in Mathare. So yeah.
Man, how has it been like dealing with all this rejection? Especially since the repeal?
Okay, I think first, as a queer person, the first thing you face when you come out is rejection, because one, even before you come out to the public, and people think we have to come out to the public. I say coming out is a social construct, if you ask me. And before one feels comfortable enough to like tell the other person that they're queer, they've dealt with it first inside themselves, and they are ready. And I think the first thing that we face as queer people is rejection, and it starts with the family. For me, it was my family. I remember my story is weird. I didn't really come out. I just confirmed because we are really close with my mom, and she saw it in prayers. Kaona huyu mtoto ni shoga. So with me, I was just interrogated. I was like, yeah, that's me. That's me. Umesema alikuwa, yeah, huyo ni mimi. Because I was also, I had been like, I was queer, but for the longest time I was trying just to hide it and just try and be as straight as possible. Straightening is not easy. So
And sexuality
is not a choice, you see. So rejection, and from that, sometimes they might not tell you outrightly that we don't want you here, but you just see how now they start treating you. Now they no longer feel like you're the child they raised. And I remember for me, they even called, actually my mom called a family meeting, and she told my siblings like, you see the way I'm getting sick and I'm about to die. It's your sister that's killing me. And it's crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy. And it was a long journey. It was something that I had to, before I even, I had to move out first, because I didn't feel like it was the best environment for my health, for my mental health. Then I moved out. I moved out and moved in with Seise, but even at that, I would still move in and move out, because at the end of at that time, I was also like, if it's my sexuality that's making me like be at loggerheads with my parents and being even a murderer, why don't I just be straight? So I was like, I'd come back and I'd be like, I'm done being queer. I'll change, because they'll be like, whatever, this is a cult and everything. And people just didn't want to associate with me anymore. My sisters, you're sick, but no one else would, there's no one who would help you through that situation. So it was a rejection for me. The hardest thing was being rejected by family, because other than my family, and that is my nuclear family, I don't know anyone. We're not close with my cousins or anyone. So I only know my cousins, and I was really close to my mother. And when it happened like that, I didn't see the need to live anymore. And also, but right now we're okay. It's been a long journey, but right now we are okay. I can even take Bambi home, and I think they're really close with my mom right now. So yeah.
That's amazing. That's really amazing that you're able to find this reconciliation, despite the hurdles.
You're stuck.
You can't hear me?
You can hear Nigerian.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope the rest of you can hear me too.
Can she hear?
I can hear you, Seise.
All right, now we can hear you.
Okay. Awesome. So thank you for sharing that. And that ties into reminds me of the project that we've worked on called Labeled Human. And Labeled Human is something as Nairobi Design Week we are working on, and it's really about labels. What are these labels that we've been labeled that end up defining us, but are not really our labels. How it came about is that in 2018 we participated in London Design Biennale, and we put up a structure called the Refugees Pavilion. When working with these refugees, we realized that wherever refugees go, they're always labeled refugees, and when talking with people, we had these cards that people fill their labels, and we realized everyone somehow has a label. Yeah, this kind of cards, everyone has a label. And last year, 2020, we had the opportunity to bring Labeled Human movement in a different way in a music video that we worked with over 50 creatives, and Seise was one of the dancers there. So it's a music video called Labeled Human. I hope you can all check it out on YouTube and get to know more about the creatives who are involved in it. And Jian was also there as one of the performers. So glad to have two members here to talk about Labeled Human. Seise, I'll let you maybe talk about the experience you had and how it relates with you right now.
Yeah, Bambi was in Labeled Human as a support system. She was just bringing me food constantly.
I was the water girl.
Bambi was the designated water girl unofficially. Yeah, I loved the experience that Labeled Human had. I found it. I told you this already. You guys started my video vixening career. So I have a very thriving video vixening career. Is it thriving?
Yeah, so far so good.
So far so good, yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where I just show up in music videos and be awesome. The part of Labeled Human that I loved the most was the writing down part, where I think that is the moment you also get to reflect on the fact that people call me so many things. I have so many things that people call me, but at the end of the day, whatever they call me, I'm still just human. There is no high or low. It's just, being human. And I don't think there's anything bigger than that, your humanity. So I think that's why I loved Labeled Human. Away from dancing and being made, like every time I look at that video, one thing I know is that I'm not that cool. Anyone who will watch it, I'm not that cool, but I looked cool, y'all. I looked cool. I looked like, you know what? Yeah, I'm the coolest thing in this side of the Sahara.
They're not cool. They are hot, actually.
I'm not cool. Wow.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm not cool at all, but you guys made me look so cool and so comfortable. It was the first time. I remember Naitima kept telling you, how will I look in that video? It was the first time. I was supposed to be dancing with Phobia, and then it was late. Then I ended up starting that dance by myself, and I was so freaked. And Phil all the time telling me that's his name, right? No. The videographer. Yeah, all that time assuring me that, no, you don't look bad at all. Maybe I did, but when I watched the video, I looked so cool, and I loved it. I loved the entire experience.
Awesome. Yeah, I really loved working with you, Seise. The whole video, it's like the singers, the singers, Clef and Bandana, Bakita, Togalo and Caleb, they're singing, and the dancers are really owning it. So you're looking at the dancers dancing, and it's just like such a mashup of energy, like the way you brought out their singing, and you made it into a dance, and you were like the focal point of the camera. It was just beautiful. Yeah. I think people should just definitely watch it. You can definitely see Seise here with like a, what's it called? I don't know what it's called, but yeah, on fire, and the rest of us here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I've seen Adrian has asked me which other videos have I been in. The latest one, which I'm very proud of, is called Kimbia. Kimbia is by Checkmate Nido. That is just another thing. I think after, and this is not blowing the trumpet, but after labeled human, I wanted to get more into creating in videos. Naitemo, I'm always just a stage person. And it's something that we had been talking about in 2018 before, that how about starting to go on stage and creating it for like the future, but we record it on stage. And after like being featured in Labeled Human, the next time that I got called, I was just called. It wasn't anything. Someone just called me and told me that they want me to be in their music video. And that's Rafum Shairi. We have a neighbor who's moved in. You'll hear a lot of noise. We have Rafum Shairi, so he featured me in his video. And then I was featured by the group, Jean. Jean knows there is a tiny film. Is that a film? It was just highlighting the life of a woman.
It's called Mojo Productions.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one. They featured me as a voice artist. And it was amazing. I was so scared, but it was really amazing. Then I got featured by Checkmate. For Checkmate, it was like late last year. And the video is out right now. It's called Kimbia. You should check it out. It's amazing.
Definitely.
And I was there as a dancer.
That's awesome. And I remember you also danced during my first solo exhibition, and it was mind-blowing. Everyone loved it. That was amazing. You can check out Jean's. What they're just talking about. Woman is also featured in Nairobi Design Week Festival, where Jean is talking about it. So you can be able to check it out in the festival link, the YouTube video of the festival. Check out Woman. Thank you, Gian, for sharing I Am a Woman. It's very powerful. So next we'll talk about survival, COVID and survival. How's it been? And in this case, I'll let also Pan-African pansexual perhaps talk about some bit of that once Seise and Rebian open up the discussion.
So I want to make this very clear to anyone who's watching, that life for a queer person is already hard. Like by just the virtue that you're queer, your life is already hard. And added to so many other labels, like you're Black, you're a woman, or non-binary. It feels like it keeps just taking and taking and taking from you. Would we want it any other way? Yes, I would love my life to be easy. I would love to walk around without constant fear of safety and all that. I would want it, but all these things that make me insecure are the things that I am. Like, I can't change my skin. I can't change my physique. I could, all that I could, but it wouldn't still level me out, I can't change where I stay. I could move, but still, it wouldn't level me out. There's just a way that I can't level myself out. It's just who I am, and there's nothing I can do about that. So when COVID got in, COVID complicated this further, because COVID created a situation where there were already queer people who couldn't go home. So that is where they survive. Like, you had to survive. Your works have been locked down, or you've been fired, something. They can't. But still, there were queer people who had to go back to homes where they'd been rejected. But I don't want to die. I don't want to starve to death, So I'm going back to be with this family that doesn't even want me.
Going back into the closet.
Exactly. And for some, you're not even going back to the closet. You're going to be there, and they constantly remind you, like, that belief that queerness is what caused COVID. I was hell?
I was once told I'm not stable in life because I'm queer. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe for people who are not queer here can testify how true that is.
How stable they are.
Yeah.
And that's so when we talk about survival, I'm going to give an example. We were staying in Kilimani. I don't know even if I'm allowed to say the name of the apartments. And we had on our balcony, the way you have curtains. So we had a rainbow flag.
No, it was a sticker on our door.
The first date was a sticker on our door. The rainbow flag was the rebellion part, but the first part, it was a sticker on our door. And someone took a photo and Googled, like, do you know how hard it is to Google an image? But they took a photo, Googled the image until it explained to them, because it wasn't just a sticker, it was a sticker with the Outright International, the organization. So it was a sticker from Outright International. And they Googled that and went and told the property manager that there are gay people living in this place and we don't want them anymore. That was the day we moved in. By the time it was 1 week on, we were not even safe. They even started turning off our lights.
On the third day, we didn't have lights. The fourth day, we didn't have water.
So they cut off every supply. Not that we've not paid, but because they want us to move out of that place. And this is in the middle of COVID. This is like...
It was April.
It was April. So
end of April.
What the hell is happening? And while we were there as our chosen family. And that is our way. We are trying to survive COVID. So pulling in resources and everything. And now you are being told, like, you know what? We don't want you here anymore. You guys have to move out. Where are we going to? Do you know how hard it is to look for houses in the middle of a pandemic? But they didn't care about that. They just
at that time,
wanted us out.
No one really asked us whether we work for Outright or whether we are gay. Of course, we are gay, but what if people put up stickers everywhere? Why would you just assume decide to do that? Yeah.
So that's when we took a very big rainbow flag and put it on our balcony. Like, oh, you were doubting this? And when we did that now, they called the board of the property. It was messed up that we had to call. I don't know if, I don't think that one we are allowed to say the people we had to call, but for that case to be settled, eventually we moved out, but for that case to be settled in a way that wasn't taking away of our humanity, it wasn't, because there's a way they wanted it to be. They wanted to that just throw us out with our things and everything. And that's what they were planning, that we'll just bring boys and then throw you guys out and throw your things out. That's what they wanted.
And no, that was one of the threats by the landlord.
Oh yeah, they sent us those threats.
He was like, if you guys don't move, I'll be sending people
boys. Yeah. And now the person we called had to get the bodyguards to always walk around where we stay, so that in case there is something, they can get to us before it gets out of hand. And when we took to Twitter, oh yeah, that's how we just took to Twitter, and we're like, you know what? Oh yeah, let's make everyone's life hell, because all of us who are living in that house are human rights activists. So we know how this plays out. We know what you're doing is wrong. So that played out nasty. But at the end of the day, when we were moving out, they gave us back our money, because what is that? And we moved to a better place, which was so funny that we moved to a place that recognized our humanity, in that even the contract that we were signing now for the lease, it was, they recognized that there are people who are not in the binaries. They recognized that. So that was amazing. And no one was harassing us in this other place.
But
except for just capitalism here and there. But
another thing, I think now I was thinking of a situation where you guys are queer and you don't know anyone, because in our circle, at least
that was our
there was one person who knew someone who was powerful and who came through for us. And I'm thinking
powerful and supports queer rights.
Exactly. So I'm thinking you're queer, and people have been thrown out of their houses and with nothing, because again, you can't go and you can't go to the police and report this, because one, you're an issue according to the president. President Uhuru said queer people are non-issue, like we don't exist. Like, what do you know?
There are no queer people in Kenya.
Exactly. So at that time, like, first you're a non-issue, and maybe whatever those people wanted to do, they would have done it, because that person had to call the caretaker and like, whatever you're doing is not right. And it's not right according to the law. What happens when you don't even know the law?
Sharia. So they had to throw in Sharia there because of they were both Muslims, so they knew where to talk, where not to, talking points.
And the worst thing is that they'll justify why they're throwing you out. It's like, you guys will teach their children.
Oh yeah, they told us that.
How to be queer. You guys will influence them. And you're like,
we're not here to be role models.
And plus, if this thing is supposed to be taught, I think by now we would have been straight. We'd be living with straight people all our life. And so it's, as I said, sexuality is not a choice. If it was, we would have learned how to be anything else other than being someone who is rejected and who's
not wanted.
And not wanted, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. Wow, your stories. This is so ridiculous. I couldn't imagine being done that just because of my sexuality. Lucimbira, just as we are on your photos right now, would you like to add a bit more to your experience as a creator? How's your experience been when working with queer people or yourself? In the COVID time especially.
Well, it's been challenging. I think as my colleagues have been talking about, like these life was already like challenging quite a bit for most folks within the queer community, and then now after COVID hit, and not just like folks within the queer community, but the many among us who are living a life where the significantly less empowered, and the way in which they experience the security or lack thereof can be quite dire. So a lot of folks are going back into like abusive homes, relationships, etc. I have a similar story to what our friends just shared, but it was like way before the COVID. But it also goes to show just like how, because the home is important, like the place where you rest, where you end your day, where you start your day is so important. Being able to like feel safe there is crucial. And my heart was breaking listening to that story, knowing how many people were involved, and how just the moving process can be so tedious and just nerve-wracking. And so finding yourself like in a situation where you're meant to be experiencing new beginnings, and then just like being slapped with a shitstorm. I'm really sorry. I was staying. This is back in 2018. I think 19. There's some folks around who might know the story. But essentially, what was happening was I was doing a shoot, just like kind of like in a very like discreet corner of my compound. So I was staying by myself. So I had some friends over. So we're doing a shoot, and then someone was speaking from like the bedroom window, and then they made some calls, and then they're now threatening to throw me out like that same afternoon. But luckily, the two friends who I had with me, one was an advocate, the other one was a law student, and so like we're able to just like peruse through it really quickly, like go through like what the law says about that situation. And there's something very crucial that our friends are just talking about, how like the many who take advantage of like the innocence among us because they can get away with it, and we don't know enough of the law. We don't know all the resources that we have to that can defend us in certain situations. And so initiatives like this, like forums where folks within the queer community can speak out from their experiences and share their stories, are very vital. And there's so many other resources which you also like, for those who are interested, as you do more follow-up on those of us who are involved, you'll find that we're connected to, if it's therapy that you're looking for, or if it's just like stories. So for instance, what I do is just like I sit down with folks from all sorts of backgrounds, all means of like on forms of expression, and we find ways of capturing all our stories, and sharing them out there without, and in kind of like, being labeled human. If folks didn't start with your label, if they decided to start with finding out about you, who you were and what you had to offer, what would they say? And how much more like empathetic would we be to our fellow humans if we started that way? So a lot of like my work is actually, it's stories told from like vulnerable spaces, but then geared towards the social powerful, so to speak. So like the heteronormative spaces, just expressing and showing the different forms of like, so yeah, different forms of strength, different forms of beauty. That's a snapshot.
Awesome. Thank you. On to the third topic today is the chosen family. So how, after rejection, after all this negativity, how did you, the Bambis, and the rest, how did you find your way back home?
Can I start? So from our side, we noticed that where we even stayed previously, we didn't know any queer people. We didn't have community. And considering that for most queer people, we come from families that either they don't understand or they just outrightly deny you. And it's that of they make it look like it's either your sexuality or us. And some people are really like about nuclear family, that then like when you go home, you want to hide it, and then when you leave, you pick it up. Like your queerness is almost like at your gate. You pick it up when you're leaving and then leave it at the gate when you're coming in. And so when I first spoke to our other sibling, and when we started talking about the whole chosen family thing, it was somewhere I think in 2018 or 2019, and just talking about it because after repeal we realized also you wanted to be around people you felt safe around. Because for us particularly, we couldn't leave the house for like 2 weeks because someone would look at you and decide you look like, and you get attacked. And which eventually happened. But it was like my worst fear at that time. That by the time it was happening, I couldn't connect that for real, it's happening to me. Like, there is something about being attacked for things you can't change. Like, it is stories until it's happening to you. So when the chosen family thing was coming up, it was because we wanted to be very close with each other and have a family that you get to choose, because your blood family is not something you got to choose, you're just born there. But now getting to be like, I choose you to be my sibling, I choose you to be my family. And this is how we are going to work through this. And first part of our chosen family was getting a way to stay together and just heal each other through that process, which was for like 1 year and it was the worst time also because this chosen family got to happen during the COVID period, and through the depression, through everything, it felt so nice to just be held no matter what during that entire time. Yeah.
Another thing about the chosen family, for me, it really came through because as artists, I remember when the first news about COVID was reported, entertainment industry was the first thing to be closed. And so when there was, and at that time, we already had shows that we knew we would be called for. And I remember during that time, now we'll be called to be told, now it won't be possible. There's this thing that you are supposed to perform in now, it can't happen. And as an artist too, it is when it gets to March, April, that is when shows at least start to happen. And so when that happened, I remember on our April rent, we were like, we needed to talk to the landlord because now it became hard even to like have the rent for April. And when that happened, I remember Aya came through and she was like, we can move in. For me, that was the first time like I was moving in with other people who are not like my blood family. And so it really came through because we got to stay in a bougie place and with people who really want you get. And I remember during that time, people didn't understand how are you living there and these people are not your family. And especially the family, like our family members also didn't understand how we were surviving with people who are not our family. And so the chosen family, it really came through for us in that way, because now as much as we were broke, it's like it covered our shame. And for me, that is what family is, to be there for you when you really need it. Yeah.
Wow.
And just that place of being held.
That's powerful.
Whether emotionally, financially, and all that there was never that moment of someone thinking before they jump in front of a gun for you. No, they don't. They were just there. And these are not people who have obligations towards you. These were people who are like, we even understand that even for you as an artist, it's even harder. So we will be here. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's powerful.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
First of all, Bambi's, like, kudos for you to have chosen family. That's really dope, because it's not that easy, especially when you're vulnerable. And these times of COVID, when you like you barely trust anyone to even help you with your shit. To find someone who you can trust and they can take you through all of that and be comfortable and be contented and be happy. That's beautiful. So like with the chosen family, it's not that easy, and it's not that available for other queer people. So I'm happy that you guys got that. Yeah. That's all.
How's it been for you, Nasimi?
For me, it's been easy. I'm glad that it has been easy, because I've had my family with me and my friends also. So I had nothing to worry about. But that doesn't mean that I couldn't like see what other people are going through and what they're lacking and all of that. So yeah, so I can just say I was still blessed that I had that also, chosen family and also family, you know.
Yeah. It's really, you know, as humans, we have that need to belong. You know, we need to feel like we are with people because we are social beings, and that's why it's such a punishment to take someone to prison, because they don't get to see other people, they don't get to be with other people. So imagine putting someone in prison when they're not actually behind bars. That must be really, you know, horrible. Yeah. So Pan-African, pansexual, we got some of these amazing quotes from your feed, and please talk more about your activism in terms of the queer community and the history and how it comes about.
Hi. Sorry, repeat your question.
I was saying, we got some of this, your feed, Pan-African Pansexual, you do a lot of advocacy for the queer community. And we just wanted you to talk more about the history of this and the history of queerness, Africanness, etc., in terms of the queer community.
Okay. The history, okay, that's a lot. But what I'll start with is, for me, reading about queer history was a form of therapy, because it was affirming who I am and that queer people have existed for the longest time. It was not something that white people came up with or something that, I don't know. Yes, so for me, learning about history was affirming, and I wanted to share it with people, hoping that, so I wanted to share the history of queerness with people, for them to know that we have existed, we have been here, we have been accepted for a longer period of time than we have been demonized. I wanted them to understand that queerness is very much African, and homophobia is not, it was brought by white people. It wasn't our thing as Africans, which is why I talk a lot about the history of queerness in Africa and also in indigenous tribes around the world. Queer people in historical times were seen as the bridge between communities and their gods and the spiritual realm, rather. So we were very important people in the society, and we were regarded as maybe even holy, but weren't exactly worshipped, but we were the priests and the priestesses and the divine intervention people between communities and their gods, which is why when colonialism arrived, queer people were the first people to be attacked, because we were the strongest link between communities and their gods. And when you break the link that people have to their creators, it weakens them, and it makes it easy for you to impose your religion onto them. So that's a great history, and that's why I share it with people. Yeah.
That's really powerful. Yeah, everyone check out Pan-African Pansexual. Really a lot of information that you need to know about the queer people and also just about humanity. I think in the end, what we're all trying to say is that we are all human, regardless of your sexuality, gender, yada, yada, yada. At the end of the day, what brings us together is humanity. And humanity is found, you don't need language to be human. You don't need color to be human. You don't need any of these aspects. It's more like, when a baby comes, when a baby comes to this world, they have this intelligence that I feel we lose along the way. A baby never judges. A baby, will cry, and the next minute they're laughing, they're playing around. But I don't know what happens when we start learning things and they start defining our thoughts and we start really not being human enough. So definitely want to watch more of this history about Africa and everything. And I'll let perhaps Gian talk a bit more about her experience with people, humanity, creativity. Gian?
Okay, hi. I don't know if you can hear me clearly.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll have my camera off. So I have, as a creative, and I'm straight, but I have so many queer friends. I have so many. We have the Bambis. They're my friends. Also, what's her name again? Seise. We've worked on different projects with her. Okay, one project, but I feel like it's been one really big project, and I really love it. I even talked about it in the whole Nairobi Design Week 2021. It's because it's a project that's close to me. So yes, she is my friend. So on about mostly, I think I'd talk about my experience with people, and then I'll go on to how COVID basically just affected me. So my experience with people has been crazy. As a human, you tend to you just interact with different people and different characters, you understand? So you are you when you're brought in this world, and with your own values, with your own different perspective view on different things, but not everyone is just the same as you understand? So it gets to a point when you interact with people who have totally different views from you and totally have a totally different perspective view of life, and it's really hard to like get along with such people. And that is where I think being labeled comes in, and that's when you're called dumb, you're called stupid, sometimes you're called mad, you're called different names. It's like when I talk about me being very okay with straight people and still being okay with queer people, it would be a back and forth argument with someone else, in that someone would be like, no, why the hell would you be supporting something like that? It's only normal because they're just human beings with different feelings from you and different perspective views of life from you. It's just normal, you understand? But to other people, it's totally not normal and it is not accepted. So I feel like people need to, I think my experience with people, has been one crazy one, to a point that at some point I was staying alone and I used to lock my door totally just to detach myself from people. I didn't have a smartphone. I just had the normal phones to just make calls once in a while, and I really had dark curtains. I didn't want to get out because it was like a 1-bedroom house. Yeah, so I never used to get out, just stay in my house, get supplies back. And I think at that time I got to know myself more. And once I finished this period, I got out feeling more rejuvenated and knowing myself even more. And I felt like for me, it was one experience that I needed to come back to the world and come back to dealing with humanity, with people, and dealing with people in a way that I think I understand best. Whether you'd label me or you'd say whatever, I have learned how to deal with that. So I guess that's it with me dealing with people. So yes, I have been labeled fat. I have been labeled with different people, with close friends, and it's just crazy. Also on the labeling part, I guess during Corona, I embarked on something that I guess changed my life, because I was about 95 kgs, I guess. It was really big. And just as we got into 2020, I got fat shamed by different people, my friends, my family, and it became something that put me down as a creative. I started creating less. I started interacting less with people. I just became really really weird. And I think that's when I detached with humanity, because personally I felt like it was inhumane to make someone feel that way because you are in a different body structure, you are in a different body bag than I am. That's what I'd call it. So the fact that I was in a larger body bag, it bothered someone else enough to come and make it an issue to me. So it took me quite a while to like accept that I am in this space for life. This is me, and I don't know if I would fit in someone else's body bag. So I just had to deal with this. So um, it got me for a while that I had this label of that fat brat. So I think when you had the Nairobi Design Week in 2020, it was really a way to let out a lot of things that were going on in my life. And it was a way to relate. It was also another way to make me feel like there's people who are also creatives that have been going through the same things and that have been labeled different things and that are going through things because people have labeled them different, and people are just weird. So they definitely talk about things they do not understand. So it was a good platform for me specifically to just let go of some things that had been bothering me for such a long time. Well, I guess that's it with being labeled for me. So as for Corona, and how it affected or impacted my life, I think it was both in a good way and a bad way. I'd have to say, I'd give credit where it's worth. So at the beginning of Corona, that's last year, I guess, just around April, I joined a film group where I got to learn how to operate different um I learned how to do camera operations, and I became quite good at it. And in it, I started doing films because I had always been in front of the camera, but because of the previous encounter I had with people fat shaming me, I decided to go behind the cameras and learn different things, so I can still be part of the crew and I can be part of a process of creation without having to be seen. And I guess it worked quite well with me because I learned how to create films, which was a good thing. I got to interact with different creators. I got to learn how to edit videos, something that I had dreaded for so many years because I was scared. It just sounded like mathematics to me. So yeah, I got to do different projects with different people. And yeah, and I guess it was such a good thing for me to have ventured into it because I found peace in it. I worked with different people at that time. I worked with Seise, I worked with Gino Giro, she's one really great model. I worked with Antoinette, my sister. I worked with Chad, my brother. So I think you can hear the background noise. That's why I turned off the camera. Then, so yeah, we did different projects with director Mojo, and it was just an awesome experience. Well, the pandemic hit me when I specifically had to move back home because I could not keep up with the lifestyle I had kept for myself outside home. And since I moved out when I was quite young, because I moved out when I was 18, because of, I guess, the not being accepted per se. But I had to move back home and go back to the normal just the normal routines of home. And you know how homes are, you don't do what you would do in your house. So it was really hard for me to create and go back to the creation board and do whatever I would be doing by myself. But I mean, all in all, I got to interact with my family. I got to learn different things that I didn't know about my family. And I guess this is why I'd say it was both good and bad, because it was just all wholesome, and it was just happy that I could talk to people who I had for the longest time perceived to be my enemies while they were my family, and I could work with them in different projects. So yeah, basically that's it with me and Corona. And for everyone else who had it rough for them, I'm sorry you had to go through that, and I'm sorry that as humans we do not understand each other, and we do not we tend to label people without having to know their side of the story, which we don't even have to know. We just have to live by ourselves, you understand? And I feel like it's very sad that we think our opinions matter so much to other people that we want to enforce it to them. And when I had the Bambi story, I was so pissed, because why in the world would you be mad at someone for living in a house that they pay for just because of their sexuality? And it was very, very sad that they had to go through whatever they went through. But I mean, we're in this together. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, man. There's so many labels that people give each other, even sometimes without realizing it. So what we'd like to do today is, like, wherever you are, from wherever you're listening to, I know you may not have this exact card to fill in your label, but it's basically more or less like this. What have you been labeled? So I'd like you to take some time and just write your label, and then do what, just write it out and release it. What have you been labeled by the society, by people, that has made you feel down, or has made you feel like, that's not you, and you need your confidence back. So, and for those who are labeling, I could have labeled someone something, let us just be very conscious of what we do, what we say, and how we say it. Because at the end of the day, we want to be treated well. So let's treat other people well too. It doesn't hurt. Yeah. So I'd perhaps let Lucimbira, just close up. We're closing up. Thank you for joining us. I know we've had over an hour now. We were meant to last an hour, but it's been very interesting. I'll let Lucimbira speak a bit, and then the Bambis can help close it off. I can see Magda joined us. Hi, Magda. Yeah, I didn't know you'd be available. Awesome. Yeah, would you like to share maybe one or two?
Okay, I won't unmute my camera, but I'll speak. What I'm getting from all this is just that for me, it's more of like, I've taken it upon myself to preach to everyone around me that I should just let people do what they want to do, and that I should make sure my thoughts are my own thoughts, because I feel like when it comes to queerness, people don't really have their own opinions. It's just what people say. It should be wrong. It shouldn't be right. But why do you think it's wrong? And what's your own mindset? So for me, I just feel like it's just the power of letting people be and loving everything and everyone. And that way everyone just gets to do themselves and to be themselves. And we can be there for each other and coexist how coexistence should be, not just breathing the same air, but actually building each other. So yeah, that's all I can say. I can say I have learned to have my own thoughts and to encourage everyone around me to just have their own thoughts. And you don't always have to have an opinion. If you have nothing to say, you can also just keep quiet. That's according to like the queer society and everything. So yeah, that's what I can say.
Awesome. Lucimbira, close off. Or wait, do we have any questions from the audience? Adrian, maybe. I don't know whether we have any questions.
No questions on the YouTube.
Awesome. Okay. Lucimbira?
Oh yeah, closing remarks. I just wanted to big everyone up on sharing their stories, because they're very, very important. A lot has changed in Kenya over the last 5 years, but especially 2020 and 2021. So many things are shifting, and we're finding out more and more just how much like the future depends on us. And so the small spaces that we create they're very important. The next laws that are going to be put in place will be put in place by folks like us and those who have like the next generation in mind, and both in terms of society and body politics and sexual expression, but then also our ability to create, our ability to take care of ourselves, our ability to depend more on our chosen family than feel stranded when things get thick. And they can certainly, there's so many stories around us. There's so many things that folks are going through right now. It's really heavy. And so yeah, even just sharing stories. Daisy, Kra. I've seen Daisy go through some things, but bounces back every damn time. The Bambis, it's just such an honor to be on this panel with y'all. Jill as well, Jean as well, and even Magda for the short moment we've shared this panel with. I hope more and more conversations like these happen more often. I think sometimes we can get very demoralized. We can get exhausted and tired because things aren't necessarily panning out. But then, they need us. Like the next generation of Kenyans who should not know about this shit need us to go through like the re-education process for us to keep on like fighting within our spaces, and for us to continue supporting each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, everyone. It's a wrap. The Bambis, thank you so much for having us and sharing your journey with us. We look forward to really getting to hear more from you and getting the word out there and being more together this year. So let us all bye guys, it's over.
Bye.
Bye.
And just to run you through the rest of the week's schedule as well, and if you haven't caught up. So we're on Wednesday, we're midway through the week. So far on the weekend we launched, if you haven't checked that out, that's featuring over 100 creatives and over 30 interviews, including some of you here on the call. Thank you, Jean. So if you scroll down, you'll see the Saturday and the Monday, they've been embedded, so you can check out Art Journeys in Corona Times. That was all about residencies, digital and physical collaborations, and how to get grants. Then another one full of opportunities yesterday, What Design Can Do, and then the Kenya Climate Innovation Center. And it was really, really interesting and great to have it moderated by Dagan Cohen, who's actually the person who leads What Design Can Do. And the panelists were local experts around the circular economy. And then today, of course, we have the Bambis and everyone else who's joined us. And we'll have that the link will be available straight after here. Currently, it's on this button. And then tomorrow we have 3 mind sessions on collective creative consciousness, which is something that they've pre-prepared and pre-recorded, and a live session. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then on Friday, I encourage everyone who tuned in today to check out the Human Rights Festival, Film Festival Under Our Skin on Friday, and see how you can sign up for that as well. So there may be some people in your communities who will be interested in joining. And then on Saturday, we go out with a bang with the Eat, Design, Repeat launch party, and being joined by a lot of the creatives in the community. And that will be it. So check out all the content and keep up to date. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.